Primetime Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
All right, happy April Fool's Day, everybody. Welcome to this Monday edition of Primetime Local News. Connor Chan and Elise Darwish bringing you all the stuff from this past weekend, and of course, all the stuff leading up during this week. Lots on the show today, including our question of the day, regarding April Fools, rather. What is the best April Fool's prank you've seen?
Yeah, I try to avoid April Fool's pranks. They make me uncomfortable. I feel bad that if someone's getting pranked, so I just try to stay away from them.
Even if someone is just like doing it in front of you, but not to you? Like
yeah, like Brett pranked his parents today and I had to leave the room. I was so uncomfortable. I hated it, so I can't do the pranks, yeah.
I don't know if he's told his dad yet.
No, probably not.
Well, sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Holden, if you're watching this, but we'll have more coming up later on the show, but right now let's send it over to Brett, who's on location.
Well, we're back here for the last day of the showcase here at the Lloydminster Exhibition Grounds, as we will be speaking to Wrangler Lisa, as she has a really cool show going on here at the showcase. It involves a whole bunch of reptiles and really cool animals, and we will even be able to get the opportunity to see those animals, and I might even get the opportunity to potentially become Spider-Man. So that'll be coming up in tonight's show, but for now, let's head back into the studio where Elise has a look at your local news.
Great, thank you, Brett. Well, Elections Alberta is looking for people in the Lloydminster and Vermilion Wainwright riding to work election night. Poll clerks, information officers, and registration officers are still needed for April 16th.
Those would be people that work the polling stations on the 16th of April. The job involves being at the polling station from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. at the close of polls, and then afterwards, possibly up to 11 p.m., counting ballots from your polling box.
The paid positions only require applicants to be over 18 and receive some job training.
Be available for the training and be available for the 16th of April. So there is online training that we will send them information for, and in-class training here in Lloydminster.
If you are interested, you can contact Elections Alberta by email. An Indigenous exhibit showcasing various pieces of the culture took place over the weekend. Our Abby St. John has more.
In partnership with Canadian Roots Exchange, members of the Indigenous community here in Lloyd put artifacts and pieces out that represent the history of their culture, all to further the discussion of understanding.
I think it's a great event, and I think it's going to bring a lot of awareness that people need to hear. People need to take time to find out what really happened in the Canadian history so that they're better informed.
The Canadian Roots Exchange is a non-profit charitable organization that aims to bring understanding and reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people through events like this one.
This event is we're trying to go into more rural areas. A lot of our programs are based out of urban areas, major cities, so we want to see what reconciliation looks like in different communities and towns, and this is a great way to spread cultural awareness and to bring the community together and to inform people of Canada's history.
The big takeaway from the exhibit is being open to learning about everything the Indigenous culture has to offer.
Just being open-minded and learning about the different teachings about Indigenous history, Indigenous culture, and just learning everything and taking it all in.
Abby St. John, Primetime Local News.
Last Saturday, a bowling fundraiser was held to help raise money for a local cancer patient. Our Jasmine King has more.
This was the second year that this fundraiser was held. The event was put on by a family friend of the recipient who decided to hold it again to help another family.
We decided to do it again, and we found a family that is also needing some financial assistance. Cherie Johnson, she's got lupus, so we chose her, and this is for her this year.
Last year the event was held for Allie Cook, who was diagnosed with lymphoma, and she's glad that someone else can receive the help she did last year.
I think it's important just because the support I got last year was unbelievable, and I just want everyone to feel the way I felt when I was having that support behind my back. Having people in your corner really makes a difference on the journey, I guess you could call it.
This event is also a way for the people of Lloydminster to come together for a good cause.
I think it really brings a sense of awareness as to how many people in Lloydminster are want to be a part of something. They want to help. They want to do what they can. They want to support people.
The fundraiser raised around $5,000, and to donate you can email Wendy for more information. Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
This past weekend was the showcase, and our Jasmine King has more on what it does for local businesses.
The annual showcase features over 100 exhibitors and many guest speakers, but it's mainly giving Lloydminster residents the chance to see what is available here.
The diversity that we have here, it's fantastic. I mean, we have everything from kitchenware to hunting gear. Where else can you do a one-stop shop?
As the showcase has over 100,000 square feet of space for displays, it gives newer businesses the opportunity to put their name out there.
It's awesome. We were here last couple of years. We're a new business here in Lloyd, so it's really important for us to come down and just get our name out there, really. And we've had lots of interest so far, so it's been really good.
The event is also not only a way for businesses to connect, but the people of Lloydminster as well.
A great show for local community, brings everyone together. It's nice that we can have somewhere for families to come to and have a day with everybody here, see what we as Lloydminster have to provide to everybody.
The showcase attracted more people than years past, and they're hoping that that trend can continue. Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
Reeves College saw a rise in new students when the recession hit 10 years ago, and the school has been able to introduce some new programs since then. Our Brett Holden has more on the growth of the college in this week's retrospect.
With some companies cutting jobs, many of those left without work are looking to change careers. Reeves College's open house Wednesday focused on the effects of the recession.
First open house was more to expose the college, show the different program offerings. This time, given our current situation with Lloyd starting to finally feel a little bit of that trickle effect with the recession going on, is a good time where people start to look back at, okay, how do I avoid this or how do I keep my job?
Dan Saru says during times of economic hardship, the college generally sees an increase in interested potential students.
Actually, when there tends to be a slowdown in economy or job offerings, so looking at our paper where you went from a huge career section to 1 or 2 pages, we typically see an influx of students for those exact reasons that we've talked about, that they want to keep those jobs, get the training to make them kind of less likely to be the one that's let go if a company is in that position.
Since 2009, the school has new programs including addictions and community services worker, and all programs include hands-on work in the industry.
All of our programs have a practicum placement between 5 to 8 weeks. So it gives the students like hands-on training after they've completed their studies. We also assist our students with a job search process. So we assist them, we stay in contact with them right after graduation up until securing them some sort of employment in their field of training.
The college has also taken more of a computerized route when it comes to their paper, making their textbooks electronic.
The response has been really good. Some students still miss the, having a paper textbook, but all in all, having a digital textbook, it's a lot more economical.
For This Week in Retrospect, I'm Brett Holden.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
And now we're going to go to Brett Holden, who is at the showcase over the weekend.
Well, we're back here at the showcase, and Wrangler Lisa joins us now. And you do have a friend, and you run this really cool reptile show. So let's talk about your little show here that you have.
Absolutely. So we do shows all across Western Canada. So we've been from BC to Manitoba. I've already been all the way to Ontario this year touring. And we bring educational animals out for the kids to have hands-on interactions with, as well as get a chance to meet up close animals that they might never see again, right? So from anywhere from our friend Boss here, who's a red tegu, to, our next guest that we're going to have in a couple seconds here, that's actually the 3rd largest tortoise in the world.
Oh,
so
cool.
Very, very cool, interactive, educational show for the kids and very fun. So they'll always come away learning something, but having lots of fun as well.
So how do you get into this? Like, how is this kind of...
I've been working with exotics since I was about 15 years old. My first exotics job was actually working with Siberian tigers and lions and stuff like that, and just my passion grew from them. And after working at, like the E Valley Zoo and running the West Edmonton Mall Petting Zoo, I kind of learned that these guys are the most misunderstood. Reptiles are always the one that people are a little afraid of, a little hesitant about, especially if you bring out like a tarantula like we're going to do today. Okay. Sometimes you get a little sea parting action there too. So it's really about that dispelling fears and teaching kids that everything is not as dangerous as sometimes the TV might make it out to be. So.
Well, that might be how I react, but we'll see. That'll be coming up in a little bit, but for now, let's head back into the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Brett. Take a look at your current temperature right now. 5 degrees with mostly cloudy skies and a little bit of sunshine. Very cloudy and mixed cloudy day. We did have a little period of hail earlier on in the day today. With that wind, though, with mostly 37 kilometers an hour, it does feel more like 1 degree as opposed to the 5 that we have right now. Some records for this time of year, 18 degrees, the warmest day back in 1991. And just last year was our coldest day at minus 18. So take a look at the satellite radar map. Lots of activity happening in that Edmonton, Vegreville, Marway, and Cold Lake areas, as we are going to be seeing a lot of cloud coverage over the next couple of days. Could be some flurries along the way, and mainly some possible spring showers later on in the week, which we'll showcase later on in the 7-day forecast. No watches or warnings for the area as of right now. Other temperatures around the area, 7 degrees out in Edmonton, Edson, Rocky Mountain House, and Whitecourt. 11 degrees out in Jasper, 6 degrees for Athabasca, 1 degree right now for Cold Lake, Meadow Lake sitting at 1 degree, Prince Albert sitting at 1, Melford -1, Saskatoon 6 degrees, and North Battleford 5. As to go a little more in depth to our regional temperature, starting with North Battleford, -4 overnight with a chance of flurries, getting less than up to a centimeter of snow possibly. 2 degrees the daytime high tomorrow with a sun and cloud mix mostly on the cloudy side. -5 overnight in Cold Lake with the same results, a possible chance of some flurries there. Warming up to 3 degrees tomorrow with mostly cloudy skies and a bit of sunshine. For us in Lloydminster, clear skies, -5 overnight, warming up to 2 degrees tomorrow with mostly sunny skies and a bit of clouds for our daytime high tomorrow. Take a look the next 3 days, 7 degrees on Wednesday, a little bit cooler there with those winds though, still over 20 kilometers an hour until we get to Thursday with 11 kilometer an hour winds, warming up to 7 degrees, that low of -1. That's a look at your weather so far. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
Welcome back. Well, canola was on the agenda as federal and provincial politicians met in Saskatoon with agriculture industry leaders. Discussion revolved around China's decision to block imports of Canadian canola. Now the province is asking Ottawa to give financial aid to canola farmers who are impacted. Rebecca Lesko reports.
As China continues to ban canola imports from Canada, the province wants the federal government to step in with more help for producers.
We understand the emergency of the situation.
Both the federal agriculture and trade minister were in Saskatoon on Friday, speaking with their provincial counterparts and canola industry leaders. The province is requesting changes to a cash advance program. It wants to see the amount of money available to canola farmers through a federal advance payment program be increased to $1 million from $400,000, with the full amount being interest-free.
I'm really looking into reviewing all these mechanisms to see which one would be the most appropriate, because our intention is to support our farmers.
We had some producer group engagement on it, and they liked it and thought there was an opportunity here for them to really take some pressure off of them as far as trying to move product in a time right now when it's getting very difficult to move canola.
China says they found hazardous organisms in canola shipments, blocking imports from both Viterra and Richardson International. The federal agriculture minister said the solution is a science-based one.
The CFIA has inspected twice and found no impurities. We are asking the Chinese officials to show us if there are any impurities, and we'll work through.
Last year, canola seed exports to China alone were worth $2.7 billion. But so far this year has been off to a different start.
all of our seed exporters have said that new sales of canola have essentially dried up.
It just causes more stress on the farm, and I know this time of year there's enough stress, to agriculture producers that are feeling the impacts of what's happening with China.
The impact that has many canola farmers waiting for an answer. Rebecca Lesko, Global News.
And that's your egg news. Sports is next, but first we'll take a look at your egg prices.
Every member of the City Centre Auto Body team has been through extensive training. We're constantly upgrading our team's education to reflect current collision repair technique.
Taking a look at your local sports now, the Hillman Hitmen's stay at the Senior AA Provincial Championship came to a quick end Friday evening. After allowing Morinville to score in the first period, the Hitmen evened things out in the second. However, they couldn't muster much more on offense, losing 4-1. Morinville would go on to defeat Daysland in the gold medal game. And the disappointment of missing out on postseason action has made way to off-season excitement for Rustlers volleyball player Matt Peck. After the success of last summer, Peck is once again running the Rustlers beach volleyball program in training in Lloydminster. Peck says he and the returning core are even more committed to their fitness, which had a noticeable impact on the court.
It was really frustrating last season. This year was frustrating at times, but for the most part we were playing pretty good ball even in our losses.
Coach Taylor Dreyer is pleased with Peck's growth as a player over 3 years and expects bigger things in the fall.
Next year he's going to have to be a guy who steps up a little bit more on the offensive side of the ball and finding us, that 1 or 2 or 3 kills more per set. Maybe take a few more risks coming up here next year and go after it a little bit more.
If their training habits continue through the summer, which includes plenty of reps on the beach courts, Peck believes there's a new level to the group it can get to.
It's tapping into that consistency. I think that comes with experience, but being able to play 24 games through a season, play at our potential more often.
Peck partnered with Jose Arellano to win silver in the Saskatchewan Adult Beach Championship in August. And now we're going to go to Brett Holden, who is at the showcase this weekend.
Well, Wrangler Lisa joins us once again here at the showcase, and we do have a little bit of a friend here, so who's joined us now?
This is Mr. T, and Mr. T is a sulcata tortoise, or an African spurred thigh tortoise. So these guys are the largest inland tortoise in the world, and the 3rd largest tortoise altogether. So you do have the Galapagos and the Aldabra that do get bigger, but these guys, being from Africa, that is an inland place, so they're the largest, because Galapagos and Aldabras, they come from islands. So.
Well, I'll give him back to you.
Yes, he's pretty heavy.
He
strong,
is,
isn't he?
and I feel him definitely clawing through kind of into my arm here. But you were saying that is kind of normal for them, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. At this size right now, he can actually dig through drywall. No problem at all. I've seen him move a deep freeze before. So they're very, very strong. And he's not full grown yet. He's only about 14 years old, and we can tell by kind of counting those rings on his shell.
Right.
Just like a tree, if you cut it down, you can count the rings. Same with a tortoise's shell. Grows with them as they go. And when he's full grown, he'll be about the size of a coffee table, and they can weigh at about 200 pounds.
That is insane. So how long is the life expectancy rather for these guys, and what do they kind of when they are going through in their home or natural habitat? What do they kind of what can they expect, I guess?
So their life expectancy is over 100 years.
Wow.
So it is literally a lifelong pet, and they eat mostly haze and grasses and stuff like that. So Saskatchewan, being an African tortoise, not the greatest pet. So he was actually rescued from Alberta here and brought into our rescue about 5 years ago now.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining us this time, Mr. T.
He's like, absolutely. We'll see you soon at the shows, 1 and 3 o'clock today.
Perfect. Well, we'll have a little bit more coming up from here at the showcase, but for now, let's head back into the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Brett. Take a look at your other temperatures right now. Currently, right now, 5 degrees for us here in Lloydminster, 4 degrees out in Macklin, Maidstone, 1 degree out in Meadow Lake, -1 in Green Lake, 1 degree out in North Battleford. Currently, 7 degrees currently right now in Edmonton, Vegreville, and Wainwright, 1 degree out in Cold Lake, 4 for Bonnyville, 5 for Lac La Biche and St. Paul, while 6 in Vermilion. Grand Prairie and Peace River both sitting at 8 degrees, 2 degrees out in Fort McMurray, 3 for Slave Lake and High Level, -2 out in Fort Chipewyan. Uranium City sitting at -6, 0 degrees out in La Loche, La Ronge, and Buffalo Narrows, -3 for South End, -5 for both Stony Rapids and Wollaston Lake, while Flin Flon sits at 2 degrees. In southern Saskatchewan, 6 degrees right now in Kindersley, and 6 degrees also out in Moose Jaw, 5 degrees for Swift Current, 8 degrees for Regina, 6 for Yorkton and Estevan. Out in Alberta, 9 degrees right now for Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, 8 degrees for Calgary, 7 for Banff, and 6 out in Coronation. Take a look at the temperatures for tomorrow around our region here. 2 degrees for us here in Lloydminster will be our daytime high. 2 also out in Maidstone here. 3 degrees for Vermilion, Wainwright, Marwayne, and Bonnyville and Cold Lake and Lac La Biche. 5 degrees for Edmonton, 4 for Vegreville, 2 degrees for North Battleford, 0 degrees for Meadow Lake and St. Walburg, and -1 out for Green Lake, -3 for Isle of Cross. And take a look at your school day forecast for tomorrow. -4 to start off the day at 8 a.m. there, -2 at recess time, mostly cloudy and a bit of sun there. The sun will come out a little bit more at lunchtime, sitting at 0 degrees. Then home time, we will reach the daytime high there of 2 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Take a look at the next 3 days, 7 degrees. Next 7 days, 7 degrees on Wednesday, 7 degrees on Thursday, both with sun and cloud mixes. Friday, 3 degrees with a 70% chance of some flurries there. Then 13 degrees on Saturday as we're starting to get into double digits, but a 65% chance of some rain there. 14 degrees on Sunday with cloudy skies there, and 11 degrees on Monday with a 56% chance of some rain. So we're warming up after the start of next week as we're heading those lows in the positives, but we'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Well, we're back here at the showcase with Wrangler Lisa, and as we mentioned, there was going to be a component that I might be a little nervous about, and this is the component. But
and lots of people are nervous, so don't be scared. This is a very good veteran spider at doing this. This is actually my daughter's spider. She's 4 years old now. And she loves spiders like no tomorrow.
Oh.
I mean, she's got a wild one that she likes to live in her room. So, I mean, tarantulas are very misunderstood.
Right.
And, I mean, these guys, this is a Chilean rose tarantula. These are the most frequent ones turned into the rescue, but they are also such gentle creatures and the easiest pet in the world to take care of.
Oh, really?
Oh, my goodness. These guys eat about 5 crickets a week. Females live about 30 years, whereas males live 7. And I clean her cage once a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you want a pet that doesn't take a lot of work, but still you can possibly do some hands-on. I mean, it is a venomous creature, so you always want to be respectful of that.
Right.
But I'd like to give you a chance to hold it. Would you like to?
Absolutely.
Just hand flat. We never pet a tarantula because they have no bones inside.
Okay.
They are an exoskeleton.
All right. This is terrifying.
You're doing great, Brett. You're doing great.
See, and this is just the way that it feels.
It's almost like pipe cleaners, right?
Absolutely.
So, and they actually have these little hooks on the bottom of their feet that actually enable them to hold on.
And so you mentioned these are still venomous, right?
They are still venomous. It's about mildly like a bee sting. So there's not one tarantula in the world that has enough venom to kill you with their venom alone. So
that makes me feel much better.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for letting us come and speak with you before your show here, and let me face my fears holding a spider here.
Absolutely. Thanks for being such a brave soul today.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys later.
Absolutely. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at the showcase, but for now, let's head back into the studio.
All right, so since today's April Fool's Day, we decided to ask what is some of the best April Fool's pranks that you've seen. So just some of the comments here. There was a story a while ago when the border markers were first built that someone decided from the newspaper decided to make one of the border markers look like it crashed into a KFC, and that went out in the paper.
Wow.
And that was obviously fake because that obviously
yes.
didn't happen. Some other ones were the Tom Brady one that was today, because we all like to see Tom Brady retire at some point, but he's not going to.
No, I think a lot of Patriot fans probably panicked a little bit for a split second and then thought, okay, that's not what's happening.
Yeah, another woman wrote, none of them are funny. Because that's true, because this is what you were saying earlier.
I was saying that too. I don't know. Pranks make me so uncomfortable. I feel bad for the person who is getting pranked, especially the ones where it's like you're telling somebody bad news or something. I don't know. I just feel like it's terrible to do. It just ruins somebody to say, I don't know. I don't like them.
If you had to pull a prank on your parents, do you think they would buy that, or would they just be like, they could see right through that?
I think, well, I don't know. It's a good question. I guess it just kind of depends on the prank, but I don't know. I just don't like them. I just try not to.
Like if I told the lie like that, if I pranked my mom and she believed it, and then I told her, oh, hey, just kidding, I would get,
She'd be very mad.
I'd be getting a good hardcore yelling at the
on the
phone,
yeah.
lashing. I would expect to drive all the way over here so she can smack me upside the head.
Yeah, we don't want that.
No.
No.
Be
Don't
funny
do that.
for others, but not me. Well,
it's terrible.
It is. But it's time to take a look at your pets, because it's a new week. A new winner for we'll announce on Friday. Yes, exactly. So, of course, we had some technical problems in the first hour. So this is Rosie, submitted there by Shannon.
Very
just all
cute.
cuddled up there.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Chewy, submitted there by Caitlin.
They're all
adorable.
relaxing on a Monday.
Yeah, really, really cute there. Next, we have Church, submitted there by Terry.
funny.
Just chilling,
I
creeping.
jumped in a selfie.
It's cute, though.
Yeah.
Next, we have Penny and Ched,
Very
submitted there by
cute.
Jordan. Just a cute pair.
Yeah, they look like
chilling.
best buds.
And last but not least, this is Mac, submitted there by
Very
Ben. Very
cute.
adorable, just stretching. Well, if
Yeah.
your pet was shown on today, you're automatically entered to win a Lloydminster Pet Pad gift card, which you're giving away at the end of the week on Primetime Local News.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
And now here is the rest of our interview with Kali Kristanti.
Family constellation work is sort of an anomaly because it's not so easy to explain. Rather, it has to be experienced, embodied. And it's a work that can be done in a group, which I do, or one-on-one through like Skype or Facebook Live or whatever, it can be done. And it's interesting because what it is it helps to resolve. It doesn't even help, it just does resolve some entanglements that we all have in our life, the stories, the patterns that keep coming up in our life over and over and over again. And some people, you know, I hear it, I've even had it in my past where I go, God, I'm living this all over again. What is going on here? And so that's a pattern. Henceforth, those things that get repeated are, you know, very often we don't understand them because they aren't actually from us. They are from our family ancestry. So they are in our system. And because we take these unsolved problems, these entanglements, these stories, but we take them with big love and we become very loyal to these entanglements. And sometimes so loyal, we will actually die or get ill to be so loyal to family ancestry.
And now this is something, Kali, that you can sort out, though, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And this is with people without even knowing it, and it's because it's done out of respect to the family, right? So then we feel something has to be solved in our system. We're never at ease. There's always this niggly-naggly, like something's going on. And so family constellations is a great tool to make and help people be aware of this and then give it back. And when the giving back happens, it's giving it back with respect, with love, with inclusiveness. Because whatever we exclude, we are going to keep coming up against it over and over and over again. It's only when we include it. And that doesn't mean we have to forgive. This is not about that. This is about, I include this reality. I include that whatever. I include this person in my heart. Doesn't mean we have to phone them.
Right.
Make sense. But what it does is it shifts the dynamics of the person who does the constellation so dramatically that the ripple effect is felt in the family, and shifts happen within the family whether they're alive or not. And the beauty of the work is if there is an illness, people start to heal very quickly. And I'm not saying it's a cure-all, but it certainly sets pace for people to really get on the path of really taking care of themselves and really realizing that they are so important, that they are enough. And through family constellation work, it really unpackages what isn't theirs and what is.
And now, Collie, it is kind of hard to, when just doing an interview, really get into the depths and explain this. Your website has a lot of this information, and if somebody's looking for information, not only on this, but with other services that you offer, Collie, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you? Do you prefer social media or traditional websites, or what's the best way for that to happen?
My website, it's just my name. www.colliekcristonti.com. My phone number's there. Call me. I give 15-minute chit chat, because I want to know if the person really wants to work with me,
right?
And if we are suitable. I don't want to waste people's time, and I don't want to waste my time or people's money. And so I give 15 minutes, free consult. We talk about it, and if we're a fit, we'll set up a schedule. If not, no loss.
Well, Collie, we are out of time, so thank you so much for speaking with us today, and we look forward to talking to you when you come through Lloydminster next time. We'll actually chat in person.
I'll bring the little figurines and people can actually see them. And also, too, Stacey, I want to thank you so much again. Have a really wonderful, so well-deserved vacation, and just know, you're adored.
Well, thank you so much, Collie, and you have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Furniture supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Welcome back. Primetime Local News again with Josh and Buck. Switching to the national scene, where, as we were talking about transitional phases earlier, just a couple of games left before the Stanley Cup playoffs begin. NBA playoffs as well, but I know everyone's geared up for the Stanley Cup playoffs. A couple of Canadian teams will be in for sure. Still waiting on Montreal. What we can say for sure that won't happen is the Edmonton Oilers continuing to play. We can say they're going to be golfing a lot this summer.
They're going to be golfing a lot. A lot of decisions to be made for the Edmonton Oilers in the offseason. Who's going to be their GM? Who's going to be the next head coach of the Oilers? Because as much as everybody says Ken Hitchcock's interested in the job, I don't think the Oilers are interested in him. So going forward, who's going to be the GM? Who's going to be the head coach? And that said, what changes they have to make? And I know there's a lot of talk that they have 3 forwards, and after that, they have nothing. On the back end, they need to get more D and better D. And goaltending is a question mark, too. But they have a goalie that they just signed to a new contract, thanks to Peter. So a lot of questions need answers in the offseason.
Indeed. I wonder if a Joe Quenneville type could make his way up.
You know what? Here's a story about Joe Quenneville. There's a lot of, and this story has a little bit of legs. If the Leafs don't get out of the first round of the playoffs, Mike Babcock is done. That is one of the stories coming out of Toronto. And guess who will be the next head coach of the Maple Leafs? Joe Quenneville. Next domino that falls, Mike Babcock to Edmonton.
I don't think Edmonton would object to that. If
No,
that were to go
I
down.
think they'll probably say, yeah, come on over, Babs.
Yeah, and of course the Flames won't be worried about either thing as their team is rolling. Goaltending has been just steady enough in recent days. There's still the ups and downs, but they just need one of those guys to step up. Obviously, San Jose struggling has helped them, but between the two divisions, the Flames are now locked in as the #1 seed in the West.
And keep in mind, though, the Flames are going to go in that first round of the playoffs. They're going to play against one of those 2 wildcard teams. Those 2 wildcard teams, you know what? I know they're going to be tough against the Calgary Flames, but those 2 wildcard teams have been playing playoff hockey for the last month.
Right.
So they're going to be at a different gear than some of the teams that have qualified and made the playoffs and pretty well guaranteed one for the last number of weeks and are resting guys. So don't let it, Calgary Flames will roll through the first round. No, I don't think it's going to be that easy.
Oh, I don't think so either. I'd love it to be easy, but I don't think so. Things weren't totally easy for the Jays. They split their opening series with the Detroit Tigers, but there's a couple of positive signs. The starting rotation looked pretty good, and wasn't an error-filled first 4 games compared to what some of the other teams had to go through, certainly.
Yeah, I think at the start of the season, in any baseball season, a lot of times the pitchers are ahead of the batters, and I think that's the case here. Not give credit to the Jays starting rotation; they look very good in the opening series. But at the same time, it's early. They have a young team. They're going to be fun to watch. Are they going to win a lot of games? Probably middle of the pack. Are they going to contend for a playoff spot, a wild card spot? Probably not. But they're going to be fun to watch.
Indeed. Probably more fun than the Mets, as the old Family Guy saying says. And the swing, and the Mets season is over off the first pitch. Just a few seconds left. Might as well just go right into the sports show. So give me in 30 here.
Yeah, so we're on location at the actually CPCA Finals tarp sale. We'll be joined by drivers as well as the organizers from the Lloyd X. Also, we'll talk a little Humboldt Broncos with former voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Rod Peterson, and we'll also be talking a little PBR and Marwayne as well.
Okay, should be an exciting night. Probably some good food, I would imagine.
Oh, always good food.
Yeah, I know I've tasted it once. I hoped to taste it again. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Thank you once again for joining as always, Buck.
Thanks.
Hope you guys enjoy it. Enjoy the rest of the show. And we'll have more on Prime Time Local News.
Well, that'll do it for us here at the showcase this year at the Lloydminster Exhibition Grounds. We were able to see some really cool things, including Mr. T there, who's about 14 years old and could live up to be 100 years old and could grow up to be a coffee table in size, which is insane considering how big he was already just holding. And I also got a chance to face my fears with holding tarantula. As Wrangler Elisa said, they are very kind of misunderstood, as they are still poisonous, but they are very calm and one of the easiest pets to handle. So that'll do it for us here at the showcase and for us here tonight. Let's head back into the studio where Connor and Elise will wrap up the rest of tonight's show.
All right, thanks very much, Brad. For those that are looking out their window right now, yes, it is hailing right now. It's not super hailing, but it's still cloudy and it's hailing right now. For those that are a little bit of weather update, 2 degrees tomorrow for us, 7 degrees on Wednesday, Thursday, 3 degrees on Friday with a 70% chance of some flurries there. Then it gets to 13 degrees on Saturday with a 65% chance of some rain there. 14 degrees on Sunday with mostly cloudy skies there, and then the low of +4 in the morning, and then warms up to 11 degrees on Monday with a 56% chance of some rain. Now, we had some confusion. One of our producers said it was snowing, and then I went outside and I said it's hailing, and he thought it was snow, but I mean, snow doesn't.
Welcome to spring in Canada.
Snow doesn't make sounds on the glass.
Yeah, well, what can you do, right?
But I'm gonna have a fun car ride home. I got no wipers that work.
Yeah, you should probably get
well,
that. Well,
they work. It's just the one does, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, you should deal with that because now it's spring. It's snow. It's raining. It's hailing. It's everything for at least another month or so, I'd say.
Yeah, I think once you get, I think it's that stretch. It's just gonna be interesting to see what happens on the weekend.
Exactly.
Well, that's gonna do it for us here tonight, folks. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a great night.
Have a good night.